Today I'm going to show you how to use Excel and how to use some of the equations within Excel. So let's first talk about some terminology. So across the top we have our columns, which are labeled alphabetically, and then we have our rows, which are labeled with numbers. Each block in Excel, we call it a cell. So this first block is A1 up here. This next block would be B1, B2, etc. So I'm going to call my first column my X's, my second column my Y's. I'm then going to do 1, 2, and 3 just to get some numbers in here. What's really nice about Excel is it'll fill data for you. So if I highlight the first 3, I can drag and drop this and pull it all the way down. What's really neat about this is then I'll just fill it in all these numbers for me. It has to recognize the pattern that's occurring. So on the flip side, I could go up by 2s and go 2, 4, 6, 8, and I'll continue that pattern. So I'm going to continue this down. Let's maybe go all the way to 100. So I move my cursor. So you're going to highlight, move your cursor till it changes. So notice it's like a big solid plus sign and it changes. And I'm going to drag it way down. You could go really far. Let's just say I'm down here anyway, so let's go all the way down to 200. All those values filled in for me. So now when I go up to the top, I want my y values to all be the square roots of the x value. So for the example, my y here in B2 is going to be the square root of 1, so I want a 1 here. This next cell, I want to be the square root of root 2. I don't want to have to type that in all the way down to 100. So what we can do is make Excel do the math for us. So I can put my equal sign, because it's going to do a calculation, and then I'm going to type square root. What's going to come up is this, SQRT. So we're going to use that one, and you're going to put a bracket, and you're going to put in just the cell. So it's really important we're clicking just A2 and not typing in the number 1, because this is telling it whatever cell is to the left, I want that to calculate the square root of it. So then I get a nice 1. I'm going to drag this down all the way down to my very end. So mine are all rounding to 2 decimal places. Yours may not. To change that, you can right-click it and go to Format Cells and go to click on Number, and then you could go to 2 decimal places or 1 decimal place. Let's just do 1. And we get these nice numbers. So from here, that's really handy because it did that math for us. It saved us a little bit. Let's check 16, I see is 4, so it's doing the right math for us too, which is really nice. Now we're going to graph it. So I've highlighted my Y column because that's the data that I really care about here. It'll automatically put in my X's. So then I'm going to go Insert. You can choose any graph. I can click it. And then there's your graph. Then you can do add chart element, add your titles, and label your axes and those sort of pieces. From here, you can see my graph is curved. And that means it's an exponential graph. It's not a linear graph like we've been working with so far. So we're going to talk about this a lot more and use Excel more and more. It's a really interesting program that you can learn lots about.